30 minutes after their wedding, the newlyweds die. The reason will shock you. The day began like any other sunny morning in the small town where Aisha and Imran had grown up. Birds chirped outside the windows, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of flowers from nearby gardens. But for this town, this morning was special. It was not just any day, it was the day two hearts, two families, and two lives would unite forever. Aisha woke up before sunrise, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness that fluttered in her chest like tiny butterflies. She had waited for this day for years, imagining every detail since she was a little girl. Today, her dreams would come true, or so she hoped. Her room was filled with laughter and the soft hum of conversations. Female relatives moved around her, carefully helping her with every step of the morning preparations. They adjusted her wedding dress, pinned the veil just right, and gently applied her makeup, making sure she looked like the bride she had always imagined becoming. Each stroke of the brush and fold of the fabric carried love, care, and countless memories of family traditions. Aisha could hear her younger cousins giggling in the background, whispering about how beautiful she looked, and it made her heart swell. Despite all the excitement, she felt a moment of calm when she looked out the window. The sun shone brightly, as if blessing the day, and the sky seemed clearer than ever, almost like it had been waiting for this moment too. Meanwhile, Imran was in a room across town, experiencing similar emotions. He was adjusting his tie, straightening his suit, and occasionally pacing back and forth. His mind was filled with thoughts of Aisha, the way she laughed, the way her eyes sparkled when she was happy, and the way she had touched his life from the very beginning. Friends and relatives tried to calm him down, offering advice and making jokes to lighten the tension, but deep down, he felt the weight of this day. It was the happiest day of his life, yet it carried a kind of nervous excitement he could not explain. He thought about the promises he was about to make, promises that he hoped he could keep for the rest of his life. The town itself seemed to join in the celebration. Streets were decorated with flowers, ribbons, and colorful banners. Music floated from nearby speakers, playing a mix of traditional songs and modern tunes. Neighbors smiled and waved at each other, many stopping to admire the preparations. The air was filled with the scent of fresh flowers, sweet desserts, and the unmistakable aroma of delicious food being prepared for the guests. Children ran around laughing, while elders watched with pride, recounting memories of their own weddings and comparing them to this moment. It was as if the entire town had come alive, aware that a story of love was unfolding before their eyes. As the ceremony time approached, guests began arriving. Cars rolled in slowly, each one carrying family members, friends, and well-wishers dressed in their finest clothes. Their faces were glowing with excitement and anticipation. The hall, which had been carefully decorated for weeks, looked magical. Rows of chairs were aligned perfectly, the stage was adorned with flowers of every color, and sparkling lights twinkled as if mirroring the happiness in everyone's hearts. A soft carpet led to the main stage, where the couple would exchange vows, and at the far end, a giant chandelier hung, reflecting the sun's rays in shimmering patterns across the room. Everything seemed perfect, almost like a scene from a dream. Finally, the moment came when Aisha made her entrance. The doors opened, and all eyes turned toward her. She walked slowly, holding her father's arm, her heart beating faster with each step. Guests whispered in awe, admiring how beautiful she looked. Her dress flowed gracefully behind her, and the delicate veil framed her face perfectly. For a brief moment, time seemed to pause. Aisha felt all the nervousness fade as she saw Imran standing at the stage, his eyes fixed on her. He smiled, a gentle, reassuring smile that made her forget every worry she had that morning. Every fear, every doubt, vanished in that instant. She knew she had found her soulmate, and he had found hers. Imran felt a similar wave of emotion. He had seen Aisha many times before, but this was different. Today, she was not just the girl he had known, she was his bride, the one he would spend his life with. His throat felt tight, and for a moment, he could barely speak. Friends tried to nudge him forward, but he simply held his ground, lost in the happiness that filled the room. The officiant began the ceremony, guiding the couple through the rituals that had been passed down for generations. Every word, every step, carried meaning, symbolizing love, respect, and the beginning of a lifelong journey together. As the rituals continued, the guests watched intently. Some had tears in their eyes, moved by the sincerity of the vows being exchanged. Others smiled and whispered to each other, recalling their own experiences of love and marriage. The room was filled with emotion, joy, pride, nostalgia, and anticipation for what the future held for Aisha and Imran. Their families shared quiet smiles, proud of the journey their children had taken and hopeful for the path that lay ahead. Everyone felt that they were witnessing something truly special, a love story that had reached its most beautiful chapter. After the ceremony, the couple stepped down from the stage and into the sunlight outside. Confetti rained down from above, and guests cheered loudly. Cameras flashed, capturing every moment for memories that would last forever. Aisha and Imran held hands tightly, their fingers intertwined as if sealing an unspoken promise. For a brief moment, the world outside the hall did not exist. All that mattered was the love they shared, the journey they were beginning, and the happiness that radiated from their hearts. The atmosphere was full of laughter, hugs, and congratulations. Friends and family surrounded the newlyweds, offering blessings and gifts. Children ran around, trying to catch stray pieces of confetti, while older relatives shared advice and warm words, hoping the couple would carry love and understanding into their married life. Photographers moved around capturing candid moments, the sparkle in Aisha's eyes, Imran's gentle smile, the proud faces of parents, and the joyous expressions of guests. Every frame seemed to tell a story of happiness, hope, and the beauty of human connection. Throughout all this, Aisha and Imran remained in a bubble of their own. They whispered little jokes to each other, shared glances that only they could understand, and held each other close in a world that seemed to pause just for them. Every laugh, every touch, and every smile deepened the bond that had already grown over years of friendship, understanding, and love. They felt like they were the luckiest people alive, standing together in front of everyone they loved, ready to take on life as a team. The morning of joy slowly gave way to afternoon celebrations. The reception hall was prepared for a feast, with tables full of colorful dishes, sweets, and drinks. Music played softly in the background, and the air was filled with chatter and laughter. Everyone was excited to celebrate, to dance, and to create memories that would last a lifetime. Little did anyone know, this perfect day was on the verge of turning into a tragedy that would shock everyone in the town. But in this moment, there was only happiness, love, and the beauty of two lives coming together. As Aisha looked around, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had the family who loved her, a partner who cherished her, and friends who had always been there. Imran felt the same way, his heart overflowing with joy. They did not know what the future held, but at that moment, it did not matter. Life felt full of possibilities, and love filled every corner of their hearts. The day, bright and beautiful, was a testament to dreams coming true and the magic that happens when two people are destined to be together. And so, the story of Aisha and Imran began, with a day full of laughter, love, and unforgettable moments. It was a beginning that everyone celebrated, a memory that would linger in the hearts of those present, and a love story that seemed to promise a lifetime of happiness. The stage was set, the hearts were ready, and the world watched as two souls prepared to step into a new chapter of life together, unaware of the tragedy that would soon change everything forever. The wedding ceremony had concluded, and the hall was alive with energy and excitement. Guests were still buzzing from the emotional rituals they had just witnessed. Some were wiping away tears of joy, while others chatted animatedly about how beautiful the couple looked. The sunlight streamed through the decorated windows, casting golden patterns on the floor, and the fragrance of fresh flowers mingled with the aroma of delicious food being prepared for the reception. It was a scene of pure celebration, a day that everyone hoped would be remembered forever. Aisha and Imran walked into the reception hall hand in hand. The moment felt surreal to both of them. The music shifted to a joyful, lively tune, signaling the start of the celebration. Guests clapped, cheered, and threw petals in the air, creating a shower of color that seemed to mirror the happiness in everyone's hearts. Children ran around trying to catch the falling petals, giggling and squealing with delight, while elders watched with fond smiles, shaking their heads in amusement. The hall was filled with laughter, music, and the hum of countless conversations, each one celebrating the union of two people who clearly loved each other deeply. The newlyweds were guided to the main table, beautifully decorated with flowers, candles, and shimmering lights. Their families joined them, eager to share in the joy of the moment. Aisha's mother adjusted her daughter's dress one last time and whispered words of love and encouragement into her ear. Imran's father placed a proud hand on his son's shoulder, his eyes glistening with emotion. The couple exchanged quick, reassuring glances, feeling an unspoken bond that made them even stronger together. They were ready to face the world as partners, united in love and commitment. The first dance was one of the most anticipated moments of the reception. Aisha and Imran stepped onto the dance floor, their hands intertwined, hearts racing with excitement. As the music played, they moved slowly, their eyes locked in a gaze that seemed to block out everyone else in the room. For a moment, it was just the two of them, swaying to the rhythm of a song that felt like it had been written for their love alone. Guests watched, enchanted by the tenderness and intimacy of the moment. Some wiped away tears, while others smiled softly, remembering their own experiences of love and happiness. After the dance, the couple cut the wedding cake, a towering creation decorated with delicate icing and edible flowers. Laughter and applause filled the room as they fed each other the first slice, trying not to get icing on their clothes. Friends and family quickly joined in, taking photos, sharing jokes, and celebrating the joyous occasion. The atmosphere was electric, full of happiness, excitement, and the kind of energy that only comes from a room where love and friendship are so deeply felt. While the celebrations continued, the kitchen and preparation areas behind the scenes were busy with activity. Chefs and assistants moved quickly, preparing dishes that had been requested by the families. Trays of food were carried carefully to the tables, and waiters moved among the guests, ensuring everyone was satisfied. The hall was bustling with life, every corner filled with movement, laughter, and chatter. Yet, amid all the joy and activity, a small detail went unnoticed: a minor issue with the gas line that had been recently repaired during renovations. It was a hidden risk, something no one paid attention to in the midst of the celebration. As the reception went on, the couple mingled with their guests. Aisha smiled and hugged her friends, listening to their heartfelt congratulations. Imran shared laughs with his college friends, recalling memories and jokes from their past. Every interaction was filled with warmth and love, and it seemed as though nothing could disturb the perfect day. But life has a way of reminding us that happiness can sometimes be fleeting, and the smallest oversight can lead to unexpected consequences. The photographer moved around the hall, capturing candid moments of joy. He photographed Aisha adjusting her veil, Imran laughing with his cousins, children running across the floor, and elders sharing quiet smiles. Every frame told a story, a moment frozen in time that would be remembered for years to come. Yet, in the background, behind the laughter and celebration, the faintest smell of gas began to linger. It was subtle at first, barely noticeable, masked by the food aromas and the excitement in the hall. No one paid attention to it, assuming it was just part of the bustling kitchen activity. As the afternoon progressed, the music changed to faster, more upbeat songs. Guests were invited to the dance floor, and soon the entire hall was filled with movement. Couples danced together, children twirled around, and everyone shared in the carefree joy of the moment. Aisha and Imran joined in, laughing as they danced with friends and family. Their happiness was infectious, and it seemed as though nothing could spoil the celebration. They posed for photos, signed guest books, and listened to speeches from loved ones, each word filled with wishes for a lifetime of happiness. Food was served, and tables were quickly filled with an array of dishes. The aroma of spices, sweets, and freshly baked bread filled the air. Guests ate heartily, sharing stories and enjoying the lively atmosphere. Laughter and conversation echoed throughout the hall, creating a sense of community and shared happiness. Everyone felt connected, as if they were part of something bigger than themselves, celebrating love, family, and life itself. Despite the joy, there were small moments of distraction. A few guests noticed the faint smell in the air but dismissed it, assuming it was something burning in the kitchen or a forgotten candle. The staff moved quickly, unaware of the danger building quietly behind the scenes. The gas leak, unnoticed and small, was slowly accumulating, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. It was a hidden threat, invisible to the eye, but capable of turning the day of celebration into a tragedy. As the couple prepared for the next event, the ceremonial toasts and speeches, Aisha felt a sense of contentment wash over her. She looked around the hall at all the smiling faces, at the decorations, at the flowers, and felt that her dreams had truly come alive. Imran noticed the same things, feeling gratitude for the love and support surrounding them. They did not know that their happiness was fragile, or that the next moments would test the strength of their love and the lives of everyone around them. The speeches began, with family members sharing stories of Aisha and Imran's journey together. Laughter and tears flowed in equal measure, as each speaker recounted memories from childhood, school days, and the early years of their relationship. Guests were charmed and entertained, feeling even closer to the couple as they learned more about the bond that had brought them to this day. The love in the room was palpable, a force so strong it seemed almost tangible, surrounding everyone with warmth and joy. After the speeches, the couple joined their friends on the dance floor again. This time, they were joined by larger groups, moving together in harmony, celebrating life and the beginning of a new chapter. Music, laughter, and the sounds of happiness filled the hall, creating an atmosphere that seemed unbreakable. Guests were fully immersed in the celebration, unaware of the danger that lingered quietly in the background. It was only a matter of minutes before the first warning signs appeared. A faint hissing sound could be heard near the kitchen area, accompanied by a slightly stronger odor. The staff, busy attending to the guests, initially ignored it, thinking it was just another distraction in the hectic environment. But the gas leak, invisible and silent, continued to grow, filling the space with a hidden threat that could not be seen or fully understood. Despite the unseen danger, Aisha and Imran remained blissfully unaware. They were fully absorbed in the joy of the moment, laughing, dancing, and celebrating with everyone they loved. The room was alive with energy, music, and the sound of countless conversations. Each moment was perfect, a snapshot of happiness that seemed timeless. Friends and family took photos, recorded videos, and shared smiles, preserving memories that would last a lifetime. As the reception continued, the day seemed endless in its beauty and joy. The couple moved from table to table, greeting guests, sharing laughs, and expressing gratitude for the love and support they received. It was a scene of pure happiness, of a community united in celebration, of two people at the peak of their joy. Yet, just behind the smiles, the silent danger continued to grow, a hidden threat that no one could see, hear, or feel in time to prevent the disaster that was about to unfold. For Aisha and Imran, this was the most magical day of their lives. Every detail, every interaction, and every moment seemed perfect. They were surrounded by the people they loved, enveloped in joy, and filled with hope for the future. Unbeknownst to them, the very setting that was supposed to celebrate their love was quietly preparing to challenge everything in a way no one could imagine. But at that moment, there was only happiness, love, and the beauty of a day that felt infinite in its perfection. The celebration was at its peak when a faint, unusual smell began to spread through the hall. At first, most guests didn't notice it. Children continued to run and laugh, couples danced, and the newlyweds smiled, oblivious to anything unusual. The staff behind the scenes, busy serving food and organizing the event, exchanged glances but thought it was just the aroma from the kitchen. The smell, however, was not ordinary. It was subtle yet dangerous, a warning that no one recognized in time. Minutes passed, and the faint hissing sound that had started near the kitchen grew louder. A few attentive guests paused and sniffed the air, realizing something was off. Panic did not strike immediately. After all, everything else seemed normal. Aisha and Imran were still laughing, sharing small jokes and teasing each other about dancing awkwardly. Their joy was infectious, and even as a few guests frowned slightly at the smell, the couple's happiness seemed to overshadow any minor concern. It was a moment of calm before the storm, and no one could imagine the disaster that was about to unfold. Suddenly, a small spark erupted near the kitchen stove. It was barely noticeable at first, but in an instant, flames ignited, and the hall was filled with a cloud of smoke. Guests screamed in shock and confusion, some tripping over their own feet in their haste to escape. The music stopped abruptly, replaced by cries and panic. Waiters dropped trays of food, and children clung to their parents in fear. The joyous celebration transformed into chaos in mere seconds. Aisha and Imran were standing near the stage, holding hands tightly. The sound of the explosion made their hearts race, and the smoke filled their lungs with every breath. Imran instinctively pulled Aisha close, shielding her from debris falling from the ceiling. Guests rushed toward the exits, some crying, some shouting for help. In the chaos, people pushed and stumbled, and the air was thick with fear. The hidden danger that had been quietly building now revealed itself in its full, terrifying form. Amid the panic, the staff tried to regain control. Some shouted instructions, guiding guests toward exits, while others tried to extinguish small fires. Emergency alarms blared, and within minutes, the sound of approaching sirens could be heard outside. Despite the efforts of everyone present, the fire spread quickly due to the leaking gas, moving faster than anyone could anticipate. The smell grew stronger, making it difficult to breathe, and the heat became unbearable. It was a terrifying scene, and in the midst of it, Aisha and Imran were separated from the crowd, unable to find a clear path to safety. Imran tried to push through the smoke, calling Aisha's name repeatedly. His voice cracked with fear, and his heart pounded in his chest. Aisha responded, but her voice was barely audible over the chaos. They reached for each other, desperate not to be torn apart in this nightmare. Guests around them were screaming, some crying, some shouting for help, and others trying to lift fallen furniture to escape. The hall, which had been filled with laughter and joy just moments before, was now a scene of unimaginable terror. First responders arrived quickly, rushing into the burning hall without hesitation. Firefighters with hoses, masks, and equipment moved through the smoke, searching for trapped individuals. Paramedics carried stretchers and medical kits, ready to assist those who were injured. Amid the chaos, there was a desperate sense of urgency. Every second mattered, and the lives of dozens of people depended on quick action and bravery. Yet, the intensity of the fire and the gas leak made it nearly impossible to reach everyone in time. Aisha and Imran clung to each other, their love and determination keeping them together. They tried to move toward an exit, but debris blocked their path. The heat grew unbearable, and thick smoke made it nearly impossible to see. Imran shouted for help, waving his arms to catch the attention of rescuers. Aisha held his hand tightly, her eyes wide with fear yet filled with trust. They had dreamed of this day for years, imagining a life of happiness and togetherness, but now, in an instant, their dreams seemed to hang by a thread. Guests outside the hall watched in horror. Some screamed and cried, unable to enter due to the flames. Others called for help, their voices trembling with fear. Family members of Aisha and Imran rushed toward the exits, desperate to find their children and grandchildren. The scene was chaotic, with people trying to help wherever they could, some forming human chains to pull others to safety. But the danger was relentless, and the fire seemed to spread faster than anyone could react. Inside the hall, Aisha and Imran were surrounded by smoke and heat. Their clothes were singed in places, and the air burned their lungs. Imran tried to shield Aisha as best as he could, leaning over her to block the worst of the flames. They called out to each other, promising that they would survive, holding on to hope even as the situation grew more desperate. The love that had brought them together now became their strength, fueling every movement, every thought, every breath. Despite the rescue efforts, the gas leak made the situation unpredictable. Small explosions rocked the hall intermittently, sending guests stumbling and causing the ceiling to crack in places. Furniture toppled, decorations caught fire, and the smell of burning material filled the air. Each moment was filled with terror, but amidst the fear, acts of bravery emerged. Strangers helped strangers, strangers carried children to safety, and friends formed chains to guide others out of harm's way. It was a chaotic scene, but it also revealed the courage and selflessness of people determined to save lives. As the minutes passed, the reality became painfully clear. Some guests, despite their best efforts, were unable to escape immediately. The heat, smoke, and debris made it impossible for everyone to leave at once. Firefighters worked tirelessly, shouting instructions and moving as quickly as possible. Medics prepared to assist those who were injured or overcome by smoke inhalation. And in the midst of it all, Aisha and Imran remained side by side, holding hands and facing the danger together. Outside, the town watched in disbelief. News of the accident spread rapidly, and neighbors rushed to the scene to see if their loved ones were safe. The bright, sunny day that had started with such promise had turned into a scene of tragedy. People prayed, cried, and hoped for miracles, holding on to any sign of safety for those trapped inside. The community's sense of joy and celebration was replaced by shock, grief, and fear. In the hall, Aisha and Imran continued to search for a way out. Smoke stung their eyes, and their lungs ached from the thick air, but they refused to let go of each other. Every step was a struggle, every breath a challenge, yet they moved with determination. They called out to rescuers, waving their arms, trying to guide them toward their location. Hope and fear intertwined, creating a surreal moment of life and death struggle that no one would forget. Tragically, despite the heroic efforts of first responders, the intensity of the fire and the gas leak proved too strong. Aisha and Imran were overcome by the situation before they could reach the exit. Their hands remained tightly clasped, their love and connection unbroken even in their final moments. The joy they had experienced just 30 minutes earlier was replaced by an unimaginable loss, leaving everyone who had witnessed the tragedy stunned and heartbroken. The guests who survived were escorted outside, coughing and shaken, as firefighters continued to battle the flames. Families searched desperately for their loved ones, calling names and hoping for miracles. The scene was filled with grief, disbelief, and sorrow. What had started as a celebration of love had turned into a devastating disaster that would leave scars on the hearts of everyone involved. Later, after the fire was controlled, emergency teams carefully retrieved those who had been trapped. Aisha and Imran's bodies were found together, side by side, a poignant and heartbreaking reminder of the love that had brought them to this day. Their families and friends were devastated, unable to comprehend how such happiness could be replaced by such sorrow in the blink of an eye. The town mourned deeply, and the story of the young couple spread far and wide, touching the hearts of people everywhere. In the aftermath, people struggled to understand what had gone wrong. The wedding hall, once a symbol of joy, became a scene of tragedy. Questions filled the air: how could such a beautiful day end in disaster? How could two lives be taken so suddenly? The investigation that followed revealed the cause: a hidden gas leak that had gone unnoticed until it was too late. It was a cruel reminder of how fragile life can be, and how a single, unseen danger can change everything in an instant. Even in death, Aisha and Imran remained together, holding on to each other as they had in life. Their story became a powerful reminder of love, hope, and the fragility of life. The town mourned, families grieved, and friends remembered the couple for the joy, kindness, and love they had brought into the world. Though their lives were cut tragically short, the memory of their bond and the happiness they shared remained a source of reflection, sorrow, and inspiration for everyone who knew them. The shock of the tragedy sent ripples through the town, touching every corner with sorrow and disbelief. What had begun as a bright, joyful day had turned into a nightmare in just a few moments. Families wept openly, clutching each other for comfort, unable to understand how such happiness could be replaced by pain so suddenly. Friends, neighbors, and relatives gathered outside the charred wedding hall, many still in disbelief, searching for answers that seemed impossible to find. The laughter and music that had filled the day were replaced with silence and mourning, leaving a heavy weight in everyone's hearts. Aisha and Imran's families were devastated. Their parents and siblings struggled to comprehend the loss, overwhelmed by grief that felt both cruel and unfair. Parents clutched photographs of their children, staring at them as though willing them to come back. Friends of the couple sat in stunned silence, replaying moments from the mourning and ceremony, wondering how life could change so quickly. Every memory, once filled with joy, now carried the bitter taste of loss. The town, which had celebrated the union of these young souls just hours earlier, now shared in a collective sorrow that felt endless. Authorities arrived to investigate the incident immediately. Firefighters and police cordoned off the area, ensuring no one entered the unstable building while investigators examined every detail. Forensic teams moved carefully through the debris, taking photographs, collecting evidence, and trying to piece together what had caused the disaster. It became quickly apparent that the gas leak, hidden and undetected, had been the source of the explosion. The hall had been renovated recently, and a small error in the installation or maintenance of the gas line had created a silent, deadly danger. The realization sent a shiver through the community. Such a tiny, unnoticed issue had destroyed lives in an instant. News spread rapidly throughout the town and beyond. Reporters arrived, eager to cover the story of the tragic accident. Videos and photographs of the aftermath circulated online, capturing the shocked faces of the community, the burnt remains of the hall, and the stories of heroism from guests who had tried to save others. While the coverage brought attention to the incident, it also amplified the grief. Everyone seemed to want answers, to understand how such a joyous occasion could become a tragedy, and to find some meaning in the loss of two young lives that had just begun. In the midst of investigation and media attention, the families struggled with their grief. Funerals were planned quickly, as loved ones wanted to honor Aisha and Imran together. The community came together, offering support, comforting the families, and sharing memories of the couple. Stories of Aisha's kindness, Imran's generosity, and the love they shared were recounted over and over, bringing both tears and smiles. People remembered the joy they had brought, the laughter that had filled the room, and the way their presence had touched everyone around them. These memories became a source of comfort, even as sorrow lingered. Counselors and support groups were brought in to help the families and friends cope. Many struggled with feelings of guilt, wondering if they could have done something to prevent the tragedy. Guests who had survived replayed the events repeatedly in their minds, haunted by the scenes of chaos and the final moments of the couple. For some, sleep became difficult, nightmares of the fire and explosion filled their nights, making it hard to move forward. Grief was not just sadness, it was a weight pressing on every aspect of life, and everyone involved needed time, patience, and care to begin healing. Meanwhile, the authorities worked tirelessly to determine the exact cause of the gas leak. Engineers inspected the gas line, checking for faults, errors, or negligence. Their findings confirmed what many feared: the leak had been a preventable accident, the result of a small but critical oversight during renovations. The realization of this preventable cause brought mixed emotions. On one hand, families were relieved to have an answer. On the other, the knowledge that such a tragedy could have been avoided intensified the grief and anger. Discussions about safety standards and regulations began, highlighting the importance of vigilance in places where people gather to celebrate life. Amid the grief, the community started to reflect on the lives of Aisha and Imran. Friends remembered late-night conversations, shared secrets, and moments of laughter. Families recalled childhood stories, the couple's first meetings, and the milestones that had led them to their wedding day. These reflections were bittersweet, filled with joy at the memories but also pain at the loss. People shared stories publicly and privately, keeping the memory of the couple alive and honoring their brief but meaningful lives. Counselors encouraged families to focus on the love and happiness that Aisha and Imran had shared rather than just the tragedy. Gradually, small acts of remembrance began to emerge. Friends and neighbors planted flowers in their honor, held candlelight vigils, and shared photographs and stories online, celebrating their love even in the shadow of grief. These acts helped the community process the tragedy, transforming despair into a shared sense of love, memory, and legacy. Over the following weeks, discussions about safety became central in the town. Officials implemented stricter building inspections and safety checks, particularly for public spaces like wedding halls. The incident of Aisha and Imran's death became a somber lesson for everyone, a reminder that life is precious and that small mistakes can have devastating consequences. Families, neighbors, and businesses all began paying more attention to safety, hoping to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The couple's story, though heartbreaking, served as a catalyst for change, turning their loss into a lesson that could save lives. Despite the sorrow, Aisha and Imran's families found ways to honor their memory. Scholarships were established in their names, helping young people pursue education and dreams that the couple themselves had cherished. Charity events were organized, where funds raised went towards safety initiatives, disaster prevention, and community awareness. Every act of remembrance carried their spirit, keeping their love and kindness alive in the hearts of those they had left behind. Friends who had been close to the couple found comfort in continuing the traditions that Aisha and Imran had loved, celebrating life, cherishing family, and spreading love wherever they went. Slowly, the initial shock began to fade, replaced by a steady, enduring grief that required time and patience. Families began to find moments of peace, remembering the couple not only for the tragedy but for the love, joy, and happiness they had shared. Community members came together to support one another, forming bonds that had been strengthened by shared sorrow and collective healing. Each day was a step forward, a careful journey through the pain, guided by memory, love, and hope for a safer, brighter future. Even as time passed, the story of Aisha and Imran remained in the hearts of everyone who had known them. Friends would occasionally share memories at gatherings, recalling their laughter and dreams. Families kept photographs and mementos in places of honor, celebrating the lives that had been so beautifully lived, though tragically short. The town itself learned a hard but important lesson about vigilance, safety, and the fragility of life. The tragedy remained a scar, but it also became a reminder of the strength of community, love, and the enduring power of memory. Through this journey, the people closest to the couple discovered resilience they did not know they had. They learned that grief, while heavy, could be transformed into acts of kindness, remembrance, and prevention. Their love, though cut short, inspired others to cherish every moment, to love deeply, and to act carefully in everyday life. Aisha and Imran's story, once a tale of joy turned tragedy, gradually became a lesson of hope, courage, and the enduring impact of love even in the face of unimaginable loss. The weeks turned into months, and the families continued to honor their children's memory in meaningful ways. Community events, memorial gatherings, and charitable activities became regular reminders of the love and life that Aisha and Imran had shared. Even strangers, touched by the story, joined in acts of remembrance, feeling a connection to the couple whose lives, though brief, had left a profound mark. The tragedy had ended their earthly journey, but their story lived on, teaching lessons, inspiring change, and reminding everyone of the preciousness of life. In the quiet moments, families would sometimes sit together, holding photographs or cherished belongings of Aisha and Imran. They spoke softly of dreams that had been, of laughter shared, and of a love so pure that it could not be broken even by death. Tears were shed, yes, but also smiles emerged as they remembered the happiness of the wedding day, the first dance, the joy that had filled the room, and the love that had touched every heart around them. It was a delicate balance between grief and memory, sorrow and celebration, loss and the enduring presence of love. Even in the darkest moments, the families found ways to honor the couple's spirit. Acts of kindness in their names, small gestures of love, and the collective effort to improve safety in the community became lasting tributes. Every story shared, every memory recalled, and every life touched by their story kept Aisha and Imran alive in spirit. Their journey, though tragically brief, became a source of strength, reflection, and enduring inspiration. Life slowly returned to a sense of normalcy in the town, but the memory of that tragic day lingered like a shadow. The wedding hall had been repaired, inspected, and reopened with much stricter safety measures. Yet, everyone who had known Aisha and Imran felt a deep emptiness. Their laughter, love, and presence had vanished too soon, leaving a void that no words could fill. Despite this, their story continued to inspire those around them, reminding everyone that life is precious and that love, even in its shortest form, can leave a lasting mark. The families of Aisha and Imran, while still grieving, began to channel their pain into positive action. They worked together to ensure that no other family would experience the heartbreak they had endured. Safety awareness campaigns were launched across the town, emphasizing the importance of proper inspections in public spaces. Schools, community centers, and event halls implemented new training programs, teaching staff and residents how to identify potential hazards before they became dangerous. The tragedy became a turning point, motivating the entire community to prioritize safety and care in every aspect of life. Meanwhile, friends and relatives continued to honor the couple's memory. Small acts of kindness in their names became a way to keep their spirit alive. Charitable donations were made to causes that Aisha and Imran had cared about, such as education for underprivileged children and programs supporting youth in the arts and sciences. Their families created scholarships, allowing students to pursue their dreams that Aisha and Imran had shared themselves. In this way, their love extended beyond their short time on earth, leaving a lasting impact on generations to come. The town organized memorial gatherings regularly, bringing people together to remember the couple. Photographs, videos, and personal stories were shared, keeping their presence alive in the hearts of everyone who loved them. These gatherings were emotional but also uplifting, as they celebrated the lives of two young individuals whose love had touched everyone. People laughed through tears, recalling joyful moments, and found comfort in the collective remembrance. Even strangers who had heard the story felt a connection, inspired by the love and courage of Aisha and Imran. Counselors and support groups played a vital role during this time. They helped families process their grief, guiding them to accept the loss while cherishing the memories. Guests who had survived the accident were also supported, learning to cope with the trauma of witnessing such a sudden and devastating event. Slowly, the community began to heal. The pain never completely disappeared, but it transformed into a quiet strength, a shared understanding that life is fragile, and every moment is valuable. The media continued to cover the story for months, not just highlighting the tragedy but also the lessons learned and the positive changes that followed. Safety regulations in public spaces were strengthened nationwide, influenced by the incident. Event organizers, landlords, and community leaders took note, realizing that vigilance and responsibility could prevent countless tragedies. The loss of Aisha and Imran became a catalyst for change, turning grief into awareness, pain into action, and sorrow into prevention. Aisha and Imran's families also worked to preserve their story in more personal ways. Scrapbooks, photo albums, and video montages were created, capturing every memory from childhood to the wedding day. Friends contributed letters, personal anecdotes, and keepsakes, creating a living memorial that future generations could look at and understand the love and joy that the couple had shared. These memories were a source of comfort, reminding everyone that while life can be fleeting, love leaves an enduring mark. In schools and community centers, educators shared the story of Aisha and Imran with children and young adults, teaching them lessons about safety, responsibility, and cherishing life. The story was told not only as a tragedy but as a source of inspiration, showing how acts of love, care, and awareness can prevent disasters and protect others. Students learned that life is precious and that even small actions, like checking for hidden dangers, can make a huge difference. The couple's legacy extended far beyond their own circle, shaping the values and understanding of an entire community. The families also created special events on the couple's birthday and anniversary, celebrating the lives they had lived rather than only mourning their loss. Flowers were planted in memory gardens, and candlelight vigils were held, offering moments of reflection, gratitude, and love. During these events, people shared stories of the couple's kindness, humor, and generosity. They remembered the little things, Aisha's gentle smile, Imran's laughter, their shared dreams, and the way they always made others feel valued. These celebrations became a source of healing, turning grief into a form of connection that united the community even more closely. As the years passed, Aisha and Imran's story continued to inspire countless people. Young couples who had heard about the tragedy learned to cherish every moment together, to express love freely, and to prioritize safety in their lives. Friends who had witnessed the event became advocates for safety and awareness, teaching others to never overlook even small risks. The memory of the couple became a symbol of love, responsibility, and the preciousness of life. People realized that even in loss, something meaningful could emerge, a lasting legacy that could change lives. The families themselves found ways to keep moving forward while honoring the memory of their children. They focused on living in a way that would make Aisha and Imran proud, helping others, spreading kindness, and appreciating the beauty of life. They found solace in knowing that while their children's lives had been tragically short, their story had made the world a safer, more aware place. Every act of remembrance, every safety campaign, and every charitable initiative carried the essence of their love, proving that even brief lives can have lasting effects. Community members often spoke of the couple with reverence, telling newcomers and visitors about the young bride and groom whose love had been so strong, it remained powerful even after death. They recounted the joyful morning, the wedding ceremony, and the laughter that had filled the hall. And then they spoke of the tragedy, carefully sharing the lessons learned and the importance of vigilance. These stories served both as memorials and as warnings, ensuring that Aisha and Imran's lives, though brief, continued to teach and inspire. Even strangers were touched by the story, learning from it and finding ways to honor life in their own communities. People across the country started sharing stories of loved ones, emphasizing the importance of cherishing every moment. Safety initiatives inspired by the tragedy spread, making public spaces safer and more secure for everyone. In this way, the love and life of Aisha and Imran extended far beyond their small town, impacting countless lives in ways they never could have imagined. For those who had known them personally, the memory of Aisha and Imran became a source of strength. Friends continued to support each other, families maintained close bonds, and the community remained united by shared grief and shared remembrance. Their story taught everyone that while life is fragile, love is enduring. Even when taken too soon, it has the power to inspire, teach, and guide others. Each memory, each story, and each act of kindness kept the couple alive in spirit, reminding everyone of the beauty of life and the importance of treasuring each moment. In quiet moments, the families would look at photographs of Aisha and Imran and smile through their tears. They remembered the wedding day, the first dance, the laughter, and the love that had filled every moment. They spoke of dreams that had been, plans that were cut short, and the joy that had been so palpable just hours before the tragedy. Though grief never fully left, it transformed into a gentle, enduring love, a reminder of what had been, and what could still inspire others. Even as time moved on, the legacy of Aisha and Imran continued. The lessons learned, the acts of remembrance, and the changes made in their honor became permanent parts of the community. The town, once shaken to its core, emerged stronger, more vigilant, and more aware. The love that the couple shared became an enduring light, guiding others to cherish life, care for one another, and act responsibly to protect the lives of those around them. In the end, while Aisha and Imran's lives were tragically short, their story became timeless. Their love, courage, and the impact of their loss created ripples that would continue to inspire, educate, and guide countless people for years to come. Their names were remembered not just for the tragedy but for the hope, awareness, and change that emerged from it. Even in death, they taught the world a valuable lesson: life is fragile, love is powerful, and every moment must be cherished. Through memorials, scholarships, charity events, and the continued efforts of friends and family, Aisha and Imran's spirit lived on. Their story reminded everyone that even in the darkest moments, love, courage, and the desire to make a difference can shine brightly. Their lives, though brief, left an indelible mark on the hearts of all who knew them, proving that true love and meaningful legacy can never be taken away.